I think Sony's purchase of a studio the other day really kind of led to Microsoft maybe wanting to reignite their passion for possibly buying another company. And there's been lots of rumors around Microsoft and Sega for some time, but something new came up, and a lot of people are talking about this just out of the blue, and I thought it would be an interesting topic to cover today. Now, listen. I'm not going to sit there and go, hey, this is a for sure thing happening, because I think that would be foolish. And until things are firmly announced the way that they were with Sony and Haven Studios, then I don't really believe it. Listen, I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan. We supposedly had Zadarius Smith back on a really friendly deal, and then he backed out. Needless to say, I don't believe anybody is with my team until they sign on the dotted line and they announce it and have a press conference. So I don't believe any of this stuff until it's actually announced. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at with this whole situation. But it's still fun to talk about, and I still think that it's going to be interesting to always hear fans kind of give their opinions to it and things like that. And I wanted to get into it. Hey everybody, I'm Crap Gamer, and of course this is Crap Gamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice a few changes around here, but that shouldn't stop you from giving us a like, and possibly maybe even consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me today. It means the world to me. And I just want to say thank you so much. If you guys do enjoy any of my videos, please leave a like. That really helps them to be seen, and it helps me to keep going. Let's just be honest. Now, listen, Sony has actually done a really good job of cultivating and buying a lot of studios that maybe a lot of us wouldn't have looked at as being potential buyout candidates. Some of them are a little bit strange choices. I think Bungie in particular, since they're not getting any exclusives from that deal whatsoever. But, you know, listen, if they're going to help them with their live service kind of strategy, then whatever, it is what it is. And it'll be a constant flow of income thanks to stuff like Destiny 2 making quite a bit of money every year. So I understand it from that standpoint. But when it comes to, you know, buying studios, I think that at the end of the day, it still comes down to buying studios to get exclusive content to help your brand. And regardless, whether we're in console wars, content wars, what have you, you're going to need exclusive content. That's just the way it is. You're going to need something that the other person doesn't have. Now, one of the things that got a lot of Xbox fans kind of talking yesterday was that actually it was kind of funny that Microsoft announced this Sonic the Hedgehog custom console with 2 controllers deal tie into the movie that's coming out, right? And the reason why they did this was because obviously that they do this kind of stuff sometimes. But a lot of people took that as, oh, they're definitely going to buy SEGA. You know, now I don't get the correlation right there, but it's interesting. So they said, introducing the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 custom Xbox controllers. To catch these controllers, you better be faster than Sonic and more powerful than Knuckles. Xbox and Paramount Pictures have teamed up to celebrate the upcoming film Sonic the Hedgehog 2. To release a limited time only custom Xbox Series S console and wireless controllers through 2 Enter to Win sweepstakes inspired by Sonic and Knuckles. The customized black Xbox Series S console features a golden portal ring shining on its surface alongside an embossed Sonic the Hedgehog 2 logo, which features coded reminiscent of the bristly texture of hedgehogs in the wild. So it's kind of interesting because I feel like the console looks great. Right, I think it would be awesome if they actually had this console to sell, the Series S. I don't know why they couldn't do an X, but you know they have a Series S at the very least, and it looks great. But the controllers have fur on them, and I don't know if those look so great. So that's the thing that I would say would probably be, you know, something great or what have you. But you know, listen. It is crazy to see all the things that kind of happen through the years, and I would love to see, you know, how everything kind of comes about when they're discussing these things. Like so far, we haven't got any custom consoles that I could tell like that are for sale from Xbox or PlayStation, and I think we would all love it. I mean, we have a hard enough time just finding any kind of you know, any kind of PlayStation or Xbox consoles. So I think maybe having some kind of custom design on them might be asking a little bit too much at this particular juncture. But yeah, crazy to see everything that's happening. Crazy to see how people are kind of reacting to this. I would love to win this because I think it would just be cool, and I would just love to be able to get a hold of something like that. But yeah, very cool, very interesting. But do I think that that this means that they're buying Sega? No, I don't think that. Could they buy Sega? No. They could, but I sort of doubt it, especially like right at this particular time. They're having enough problems just getting through with the Activision deal, let alone buying another publisher and things like that. I think it's not worth the trouble to them. So I think in the future, if they do buy studios, it'll probably be studios and not full on, big time things or whatever. So the interesting things don't end here. Like, listen, everybody wants games, right? Like, oh, let's stop talking about the studios. Let's talk about the games. Now, for me, like I've been saying for a long time, Microsoft really wants to do, 4 to 5 big AAAs a year in Game Pass. And I think we're close to that point. I think next year is going to be the year that we get that first kind of jumping off point where we get that. But I think towards the end of this year, we're going to start to see that start to happening. I actually do think we'll see Redfall. I think we'll see Forza Motorsport. And I think we'll see Starfield. 3 big games coming out this year. And then next year, I actually think we're going to see Avowed. We're going to see Hellblade 2. We're going to see Contraband. We're going to see stuff like that. So I do think that we're going to see, a lot of these games come out now. They're starting to talk more about Hellblade 2. And it was interesting. So Ninja Theory's upcoming Hellblade 2 is going to have an impact, but for other reasons. One of the game's combat designers has claimed. In an interview, combat designer Juan Fernandez talked about his job as designer, and more particularly his job as combat designer for both the original Hellblade and upcoming sequel. There are some interesting tidbits in the interview, with one of them being that apparently the combat experience will be offered by Hellblade 2 will be taking a different approach compared to the first game, including the need for players to use different attack combos. As also pointed out by the designer, the quality of Hellblade 2 will be on a completely different level, and the game will feature new stuff that will have an important impact on the game. He said, and I quote, "We're raising the bar of doing more with less. We're more people than the first Hellblade, but the quality we're giving versus the team behind it compared to similar games, I think, is through the roof." He also said, "What I like about Hellblade 2 is that it's a very unique approach. I think it's going to have an impact like Hellblade 1, but for other reasons. Because obviously, there's a lot of things we're new at and were new in the first game that will have less impact in the second game, but there's a whole bunch of other new things that will have an impact." The designer went on to talk about Hellblade 2's combat experience. He said, "What I was least satisfied with in Hellblade 1 was the lack of enemy variety. The long-range combat was stifled, and the balancing stuff. The way difficulty systems were tuned, the enemies had too much life, they had too much durability, and it got tiresome a lot of the game. We had a lot of variety attacks and combos, but the enemies didn't really encourage you to use one or the other. People found 1 or 2 moves that they liked and repeated them constantly. They were very generous parries and story timings that could be balanced more intelligently. Some interesting stuff about it, and I think we're hearing more about it. We'll probably see this game again around E3 time, and it looks like it'll probably release sometime next year, which I think is exactly what people are really kind of hoping for. We're starting to get that influx of studios that are starting to become finished with their titles, and we're going to start getting them released. So I think that that's a really cool thing, and I love hearing how we're getting all these great announcements from some of these studios, and they're talking about the games. But things are starting to ramp up when we get some of these announcements, and that's exactly what it's all about, in my opinion. Hearing these announcements, seeing these announcements is exactly kind of what the doctor ordered, because the games are the most important thing. Yes, it would be great for Microsoft to buy more studios. Would I love it if they got Sega? Sure. I mean, I love Sega. I love what Sega's been able to offer. It would fill a huge need for what Microsoft wants, and I think that it really kind of would make sense for them to be able to go out there and do that. Do I expect them to do that? Listen, I don't know. Really it just depends on what they choose to do and what they want to do. It's their money, but I would love to see that. So with that being said, what do you guys think? I'm going to link all of this in the description below. You fine folks can check that out. Thanks for watching. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up, crap gamer out.